Okay, wait 2 more minutes for the people outside in the sun. It's your last chance to grab a wine at the bar. There's like some free wine. So feel free. So 2 more minutes. You can sit down. You can come closer if you want. So I know it's still COVID, but you can familiarize. That's better. Yeah. All right. I would say I just start talking a little bit, and then maybe there's other people who follow. So first of all, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for joining this session. It is announced in the program as Ines workshop. For everybody who doesn't know that, Ines is a project, a European project, initiated from a company called Gigmit, an online platform that you might be aware of. And so I actually changed the title a little bit and will talk about both, the Ines project and Gigmit as well. To give you a little introduction, what we're going to do in the next minutes, in the next hour probably, I will give you a little bit of a background first about Gigmit itself. Then I will jump into European projects, in particular the Ines initiative, but also I will touch some others. And then, since it's called workshop, I will also go a little bit more into practice. And I invite you to go into the details of the Gigmit platform with me together as from an artist or promoter perspective, which brings me to my first questions to all the people here in the room. Who of you is actually an artist or representing an artist? Okay, I would say that's half. And who of you is in charge to run a club or in charge for booking of a venue or a festival? That's the other half. Perfect. So we cover both. Then I will cover both in the third section as well. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Marcus Fitzgerald. I'm from Berlin, Germany, and was invited, thanks to the organizer of Kontakt festival, to come here and give you a little bit of a background information about all of this. I am the CEO and founder of Gigmit, so in that capacity I probably have quite good knowledge of the whole topic. My personal background is a promoter as well. I never was able to learn or play an instrument, and I think I don't have any talent. I tried to rap when I was 14 years old, but I realized quickly that I'm better in helping artists to get on stage rather than being on stage. And so I started to work as a promoter myself for 15 years. I did several 100 or 1,000 maybe club shows, as well as a festival over 8 years, and felt it's all a bit messy, this whole like live music thing. That was my driver for the last, and has been so for the last 10 years since we are doing this, to simplify the way of live music works and promoters and artists come together. You could also call it a little bit of a dating game or platform between promoters and artists. How we say it, we want to help navigating through this big industry that is very difficult to get through, understand and connect. So that is our aim, to basically empower you in the end to have the career you like and focus on that, focus on making great shows, focus on making music rather than organizational hassle. At GigMit, and I want to share some numbers with you. We I said it already, as a company, we are 10 years old. We are I think, 8 years now online. We managed it to publish 136,133 gig opportunities for artists, and we are very proud of that, because actually on all the digital platforms, this is by far the biggest number that is out there. On the other hand, we are very aware and very self-critical that this is definitely not the number where we want to be, and simply scale up, for example, as a platform on our user base. We believe that there's much more events, millions of events out there, and we want to cover the most of it and make that available on our platform. On the other hand, we managed it to have now 195,000 artists on GigMit, which is great. It's a very amazing variety of artists from all over the world, from actually over 120 countries, all genres. And if you are into certain niche stuff, I highly encourage you to use our artist search to find cool stuff, because there's so many amazing bands. I'm surprised every day to see those bands or some of the bands on GigMit, and yeah, it's just really cool. And of course, it's growing a lot. We grow in the thousands every month, so there's definitely more to come, and we are a company that aims for bigger. So it's definitely, we are not, we don't stand still at the point where we are right now. And that's very interesting, I think, for both sides, for artists and event organizers. We connect a network of over 100,000 festival and venue organizers. And I think that is really good, of course, for an artist to get access to, but also for venues and festival organizers alike to connect and basically to connect and reach out to each other and support each other. Our main countries, to give you a little bit of a background on that, are the UK. UK is actually our biggest territory, the US, and the German-speaking countries, Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Our main genres are hip-hop, rap, electronic music, rock and pop music. Although, as I mentioned, and you see that this is a genre pie chart, like of the different genres we have, and obviously not even all the genres made it in there. But you see there's a huge variety of artists on the platform. Our aim is to make that simple, that messy stuff. That I've seen a YouTube video last year, and I couldn't believe it's from last year, of a young artist, I would say in her early 20s, and she produced this video on YouTube, how to book a gig. And she said, okay, guys, I explain you how this all works and how to book a gig. And she said, you go to Google, you Google the venues you like in a town where you want to play, you get all the phone numbers, you make a spreadsheet, you write them all down, you call them all up, you try to call them again, send them demos, go and meet them in person, and then ultimately you will get some gigs. And I couldn't believe it, because I thought, is this like 2021 or 2 now? That's really weird. So basically we are there to make that easier for both sides, that booking is not a pain anymore. And I've chosen this picture, which is like a part of our artist page on GigMit, to show you already what I mean by that. And what we did is I actually talk a little bit more about the artist page later, but you create that page by clicking 2 buttons. You do a Facebook Connect, you do a Spotify Connect, and this page automatically is created. and you have like a very professional EPK that you can use. By the way, can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Yeah, and you have a very professional EPK that you can use already, which is actually for free. But that's not all. I also mean something else by that, and I want to show you a video. Oh, couldn't load this video. Well, then I have a backup prepared, which is this. Sorry. Okay, why do I show this? Oh, I don't have internet anymore. Okay. That's not good. Anyway, we try to navigate through it. Why do I show this? We created a feature actually years ago, and we improved it and did a better version of it that we released last year, which is the call feature. Okay, great, it's working again. Which is the call feature. And for a promoter, that means if you're looking for an artist for your festival, for your venue, you have like now to do, you've seen it in the video, 3 clicks or so, and you're immediately connected to almost 200,000 artists that see what you need and what you want, that only can apply when they match the criteria that you provided before. And that is already, and it's very simple, and the artist can apply by 1 click, and it makes it all very easy. But we thought it's not even just for promoters. It could be even used from artists. If you want to have an artist to support you on tour, if you want to support another artist on tour, if you want to work with an artist on a new project, whatever it is, you can also use it from the artist side. Basically, it's like in a few clicks, your connection to a community, a growing community of other artists that makes it really, really simple. And that's not out there really. So, or really difficult to be doing to be done on SoundCloud or other platforms. So I need to jump to the next one because simple is one thing, but we realized quickly that it's actually really important for a promoter and for an artist as well, and I try to cover and touch the 2 perspectives here, to look at data. Why is that important? If you do a show that is not publicly funded or has a festival that is maybe, like let's say Exit Festival, has a very strong branding and they sell tickets anyway, no matter who is playing. I hope that's true. Maybe the people from Exit Festival would now say something else, but basically, if you have developed a strong brand, it's maybe not so important how big the artists are that you're booking. If you do not have that, and if you are dependent on ticket sales, and the same on the artist side, it's not like, oh, you just play everywhere, and that's it. It's really important to look, do I actually have a market there? Do I have fans in a certain territory? Can I sell tickets? And on the other side, from a promoter perspective, is the artist big enough that we can sell enough tickets to make this show a success? And that's a very important question. So now we were actually really excited when we've seen the growth of all the streaming platforms, and basically that's the way today how music is consumed. But that makes it possible to track, actually, to see who is listening to those artists, how many people in which city. Now, the big difficulty is to access that as an independent club. It's nearly impossible to get this data from the artist side. You don't have all the login credentials for every artist to get on the Spotify for Artists dashboard, for example. So that's why we created a feature, and we call it fan charts, where we actually look into and analyze the data from Spotify and from Facebook at the moment. We launch Instagram in a few weeks. We already developing YouTube as well, that you can get access to the local data. And that's really exciting, because then you see actually how many listens and fans has an artist in a certain region or city. And you also see the development over time. And let me just introduce that feature to you in this little video. How it works. Yeah, this is how it looks. Simple. So basically what you can do is you can go to any city in the world, you can use genres to see which artists in certain genres are trending or not trending, and get that information. And those are all examples to show you how we think and why we are doing this and how we actually try to make booking simple. I think I can't... okay. Because we believe that live music business should be fast and easy and accessible for everybody. Now I want to switch a little bit more to certain projects. Some projects on GigMit that we do, one kind of department that we initiated is called GigMit for Brands, and at GigMit for Brands, we actually were really successful in the last years, and we are still growing on that, to work and collaborate with brands. We work with Casio, we work with Fritz Cola, I don't know, it's like very famous in Germany, growing in Europe as well. We work with a major German beer company, we work with JBL, we work with Sennheiser, Shure Microphones, and many more. And we run branded projects. Those are special projects that can, like in a huge variety actually. We produce videos with artists, we run branded stages at festivals. We do many things, and for artists it's a huge chance to get a higher exposure and grow through these brand projects. So you find them in the calls and gig sections on GigMit all the time, and they are there's constantly coming new opportunities up like this. And the brands are really excited to collaborate with especially independent and young artists and actually help the artists to develop. So that is one, let's say, thing that apart from fan and community data that you can make a use of on the artist side. On the promoter side, it's also very interesting because we always look out for new festivals where we can connect the brands to. So to have like for like branded stages and initiatives like that. So if you run a festival, then feel free to reach out to me. I have some cards here, and then we can talk about this as well. Apart from that, we were. I don't know if I should say we were lucky. Yeah, we were lucky in like a few years ago to convince Sony Music to become a shareholder of GigMit. We're an independent company. I find it very important to mention, but basically Sony Music invested in us and connected all the departments and resources to us as a company. So the A&R departments of all the labels, for example, looking into GigMit to scout artists and discover new talent. And it's really exciting. And obviously they're looking a lot at data and using also the data aspect to discover artists. But what I can say is definitely from the artist side of things, it's very important to keep your profile updated and complete, because that is like a very important criteria every A&R mentions all the time where they look into. But it's definitely being on GigMit is definitely a good chance and a good connector to the label landscape of Sony Music. And now I would switch or add as one of as another project to the Ines part. Running this whole platform and having a lot of promoters, thousands of promoters in all over Europe on our platform, we felt, okay, we can do a bit more, and we might have to do a bit more to support artists to develop their careers internationally. So the idea is basically, and that was the foundation, the thought about Ines, to develop a project where we can actually connect music all over Europe. And we felt really, I mean, you know, we think in terms of making things easy. We run a digital platform. We are available globally. So borders is a concept that is not really for us. So we felt, okay, borders are difficult and just hindering artists to spread their careers and to grow further, which is why we initiated a project to overcome those borders and make it easier. The way we thought makes the most sense is using hubs in every country in Europe to get the word out and use those hubs to connect artists with promoters. Those hubs are showcase festivals, like Kontakt is one of it. And the showcase festivals have the great characteristics that they connect the whole national music industry with the artists that are playing, and that means for an international artist to come in, it's a huge chance to be seen and to get visible towards the whole national industry. Whether you make it or not after that, that's probably up to the artist or many other factors, but it's definitely the best ecosystem that you can have to make it and to build relationships with promoters, with other PR, label, or whatever structures in certain countries to be able to start a business in a new country and share and distribute music in a new country. The other exciting things we talked to many festivals, we developed that project. We got actually 22 festivals in the end joining, working together in different capacities. Some are involved stronger. For example, one of the founding partners of the Ines program is Ment Festival in Slovenia. So they are, for example, really strong ambassador on that project and pushing like really a lot, I think 30, 40 artists every year through that project on their festival. There's others that are more like loose connected, where we're talking about maybe 3 or 4 artists that have the chance to join those festivals, but that's all okay. We basically have this huge variety, and another very important plus for every festival organizer or promoter actually in general is to connect with that like-minded people from other countries. We do sessions, meetings, workshops within those Ines Festival partners, and we try to raise topics like during COVID, for example, live streaming and hybrid events, and how does one festival do it, how does the other festival do it, to learn from each other, to develop like better concepts from a more international perspective. If you don't run a festival, it's also a great chance to just simply attend festivals abroad. The festivals in the Ines network usually opening and dedicating free conference passes to promoters. So if you run a club or book some shows, it's always a great chance to go to those festivals then and connect internationally. So this is about Ines. The Ines project started in 2017, and the public funding for this project ended unfortunately, last year. And at the moment, it runs a little bit like on the looser end of things because purely the European funding has ended. But we are working on at the moment on getting new funding for the project and continue it in autumn. So it's definitely what I would recommend at the moment for this project is to still have a lookout. Because you get informed on GigMit about it anyways through our newsletters, but also through the gigs and courses that are open on GigMit from those festivals, and they are usually marked as Ines festivals, and then there will be an Ines call for new artists as well. So when this is all starting, you will get notifications on that. So I would just say wait a little bit, but now you have already the bonus, so to speak, to have a better understanding of the whole concept and of the whole project. And I can tell you it's going to be even more exciting than before because many festivals from that group are committed stronger now to really push the project ahead in the coming years. So it's here to stay, and I'm pretty sure it will be. Now, I mentioned initially that it's not just about Ines, it's also about European or other projects in general. And what I don't need to talk about, I think, is like projects like Live Europe. It was covered in the conference earlier already. So there's many other projects in Europe that help artists to grow, and I would recommend, actually in this case, the website from the European Union, although it's a horrible website, but they have like the Creative Europe section has like a list of all the music projects that they fund, and so you can get a good overview and check out their websites if you can get what you can get out of it. Some offer grants for artists and scholarships, some offer touring support, some offer just big promotion on a European level for artists. So it's actually really cool what's going on there. Apart from this, what we do, and I want to introduce this to you actually earlier before we introduce it publicly, is a new project that we initiated called RISE. The RISE project is basically all the good stuff from Ines, but without money involved, and a bit bigger. So what we have done there is we reached out to much more festivals. So it's not limited to 22 showcase festivals. We reached out to other festivals as well, like let's say summer festivals and like the more traditional festivals that do not have an industry relation as well. We reached out to clubs and so on, and we found actually a huge group. I think it's now 150 festivals and clubs that are committed to look into an artist pool that we developed, the RISE artist pool. Very similar to Ines, because it also, I didn't mention that, it also works on an artist pool basis. So you apply to become member of a pool, you get selected, the festivals are all working on that to select then the artists, and then you have the possibility to be discovered better, because it's all the bookers from all those festivals are dedicated to look into that pool and look into the artist specifically. And this concept it worked very well. So this bonus kind of we took over from Ines and put it into RISE again, but just with a bigger group of festivals and clubs. The budget that an artist gets is in this case not funded from the European Union, which it was on the Ines thing. So that is then depending on the festival budgets, but usually the festivals have budget for their artist booking, so it's not that you have to play for free or so. So this is the RISE program. There's a call open at the moment on RISE already. We will do a bigger PR campaign around that whole project. That is like kind of it's our soft launch now, and you're the exclusive group already that hears of it. And please do apply if you find it interesting to play more abroad. And yeah, hopefully you get selected in that pool. What is really important again, and now we come to the third part of the workshop, is the how you present yourself as an artist, right? Now this is maybe also for the promoters, but definitely, I think, the interesting part for the artists. By the way, is anybody from you on GigMit? Perfect. So maybe you can, I just do a quick introduction, and maybe you can come on stage and put your artist page in, if you want to share it, if you're proud of it. I hope you're proud of it. And then we can look at this together. But what I want to give you a little bit of a background information about this, because it's not, yeah, we want to do this business simple. And how do we do this? By having a profile of an artist that covers all the questions you have from the promoter side. No questions asked in the future if you look at this profile and you know exactly what's going to happen and you can make a decision very quick. We developed that with a few hundred, I don't know the exact number, with a few hundred promoters, club bookers, festival bookers internationally, and we asked them what is the most important information that you need to have access quick, and what is and how should it be displayed. And we had like loads of iterations on this artist page, and basically this one is the result, right? So here we cover in an order of importance all the information that the promoter needs. By the way, the most important thing, guess what? It's not the music, it's the picture. That's why it's on the very top, because like imagery and how you kind of market yourself as an artist is very important. So yeah, we found that out anyway. So all of this is in this artist page. And now, what I've seen a lot in the past, unfortunately, is artists complaining and saying, oh, GigMit doesn't work. And then I looked at the artist page and I've seen, okay, there's not even a picture. And not even music. And I thought, okay, if you want to play at a festival abroad where you've never played, where you have no connection, how can this promoter ever decide on you if he's not able to listen to your music or to look at your kind of visual expression of yourself? And if you're not even able to finish those kind of small things. So that is why I can't stress enough how important it is to really craft this artist page in a way that you are super proud of it. And you have to show it to your friends, family members, maybe not family members, they're biased. Show it to people on the street and say, would you like to listen to this artist? And only if people say yes, then it's good enough. And if not, you have to go back and do your homework. I always encourage artists to do several photos. So I would say do get friends, photographers, whoever involved to try different imagery and yeah, to kind of play around with it a bit as well. And of course, what is important, I think you're not surprised, is your data and your statistics. Because if you're not able to get a single fan or a single listener, that might be a bit difficult because promoters might doubt in your ability to also bring people to a concert, or in your experience how to interact with fans, how to deal with people who listen to your music. So that's why these parts are very important. Now, before going to the last one, would you like to come over and show your page? Let's have a look.
Probably not the best, so it will be good for this use.
Do you know the GigMit URL? So
GigMit @stayinofficial. I can type in it.
Yeah, one sec. Just do this now. Just do the second part. So what's your name, by the way?
Stain, and we're from Belgrade.
Stain from Belgrade. Thanks.
Belgrade.
Nice to meet you.
So this is our
Okay,
page.
so let's have a look. I would say we do a little analysis, right? So I would say the imagery is already good. The photo, what would you say? Yeah? No? Yes, no?
Is it a little dark,
Well, it depends on your music.
Well, it's grunge. It's Alice in Chains, like so.
That's
and
okay
it's
then.
It's analog photography, so we wanted to match the vibe of the music with the imagery. So we took this grainy photo. But then again, will promoter take this into consideration, because he will look at the imagery, maybe, oh, this is too dark, maybe it's muddy, I don't want to listen to their music. So.
Well, I would say it's cool, and the thoughts behind are cool. Maybe only the position of the image. Oh, here do you see? Like maybe the heads could be a bit more. I mean, you can't. It's not your fault that the page is like this, but of course there's a little bit. That's the only thing, but it looks different mobile then again. So, but yeah, maybe moving the heads a little bit so we can see you all. But other than that, I would say that's pretty good. That's definitely not a reason to not work with you. Okay, then we have music to listen to. It's all great. We have a few Spotify followers. I would say work on that. Maybe ask some friends to join, that we get at least to the hundreds. There's also, by the way, really cool tools to submit your music to your songs to playlist curators on Spotify. That might not change the world, but it might change you from 25 to 2,500. And 2,500 is already a statement, because then you can say, okay, we managed it to get a certain core listener base that like our music so much that they probably would also go to a concert. Okay, Facebook. I mentioned already we will launch Instagram very soon, so depends on the platform, right? So if Facebook is your platform, then I would say definitely push for that. If it's not, and more Instagram, then you can push for Instagram numbers, because they will be visible here very soon, and so on. Okay, then we look at Belgrade. Have you done a show in Belgrade already?
Yeah, like at least 20 shows in Belgrade.
20?
Yeah.
Wow. And how many people come to these shows?
Well, between 50 and 150.
Okay, that's pretty good, because I would have, I should have said it before I asked you, because I would have guessed 25 people, right? Like the 10% of the local numbers, because here you see in the feature already, this is not the overall Facebook. We've seen, okay, there's 344 Facebook fans, right? But it's only, it's actually the biggest group is based in Belgrade. So 250 of those fans are in Belgrade, and you managed it even in the last week to get 7 new ones. Congratulations on this. So yeah, you have 7.
Because we published a new single a month ago, and then numbers come in.
Yeah, so that's good. So trend is going up, always good. And 250, like what I would say, if you have less than 250 fans in a city, you don't sell enough tickets to fill the venue, right? That would be my assumption. There is exceptions to that, so don't judge me for that. But generally speaking, this is a really minimum number to play shows like you mentioned, 50 people coming, 100 people coming. I would have said you need even a bit more. The reason why I'm saying this is we have done, you have seen it like 136,000 shows. What we have seen over this time on those shows is so often, too often to be honest, artists playing abroad, being really excited to getting the gig, but getting the gig is not where it stops. Playing the show is where it's going to be important. So they got those gigs, were really excited, played those shows, and 10 people were in the first row. And it was an economic disaster for everybody. There weren't enough drinks to be sold. There weren't enough ticket money to cover even the costs for the van or the travel or the hotel or whatever, right? So even if you have a punk production that is where you sleep on the stage and you don't have much costs involved, you need a minimum amount of, let's say, 50 people to come to a concert to make it to make it fun, to make it a success. And in order to get that number, you need to make sure that you have a certain group of people in that area that know you, that like you, that listen to you, that ultimately buy a ticket and come to your show. And sometimes, if all those numbers are really low, I would recommend to focus on growing the numbers first before looking out for gigs. Because looking out for gigs ends up, even if you're successful, let's say you're a good salesman, you make great pictures like those guys, and you get into some shows, and then you're really upset in the end because it's a financial disaster, and it's also not really fun to play in front of like 2 people. So I would suggest to work on that first, work on those numbers, and focus really on a city. Focus, you want to play in Belgrade, focus on growing, and I would even recommend it for you, focus on growing in Belgrade more first, and don't focus on other things, because probably you're not a millionaire, so I would assume. So you have limited budgets, limited money to spend, so spend a limited money, very targeted on one area first, and then the next. But that doesn't mean you can't play anywhere else, because there are events like Kontakt, for example, where people go to that don't go here necessarily because of the bands, probably some, but they also come here because of the festival itself, and they want to attend the festival. So what I would always suggest in those cases is trying festivals, trying to get the smaller stages, trying to get other opportunities, promotional, branded opportunities, the ones I mentioned before, trying to get in clubs, to formats. Some clubs have like New Music Friday shows or something like that, to get in those formats where it's particularly about presenting a new artist, and the brand is stronger than the rest, right? So this would be my advice to when it comes to what to look for, which shows actually make sense. And of course Belgrade, and then if you reach out to the next club to Belgrade, you can say, listen, I have already 250 very trustworthy, it seems, fans who come to my gig, right? Now, okay, here I can see it. Definitely a good list of events. Super important, this list of past shows, because it shows you're experienced. You know what to do on stage. I told you, we work with Sony Music. Sony Music told us so often they signed artists based on some digital release numbers, and then they played their first gig and it was a total disaster, and they invited press and everything, and it was a total disaster because they simply didn't have the experience to know what to do on stage. Ed Sheeran said once you have to do 100 shows before and the 101st one will be the good one, to just like develop on experience. And you have an upcoming gig in London, is that true?
No, that's like I think something like radio airplay.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, okay. Cool, but there's upcoming stuff. I always, if you have upcoming shows, of course, put them in, the more the better. But if you don't, there's also an important trick. Do your own shows. It can be live, of course, if that's possible, if you can go in a venue, if you know somebody, maybe a bar, something small first. But other than that, since live streaming has really, been used, there's many people that have been on Twitch, at least, have an account, all this kind of stuff, that definitely helped a lot that you can actually say, okay, I'm going in my rehearsal room, I'm going in my living room, I'm going wherever, and produce a live stream, and it can be done really simple. We've done very successful live streams with people filming with their phones. We had one, it was really filmed unprofessionally, at home, a singer-songwriter, and it was on Twitch, and 700,000 people watched it. So it's definitely possible. And I would recommend to regularly, if you don't have the shows yourself, to regularly do live stream shows, because that means A, you are gonna be connected with the audience, with your audience, and B, it means you have some upcoming shows, you practice yourself to be able to play good shows in the future. Okay, and then yeah, you have some releases. That's cool. You have no agency, no management, and you're unsigned. Congratulations. That is okay, actually. That's no problem because we have, for example, the A&Rs from Sony Music. That's at least what I can say because we are working closely together. They specifically look for that criteria, right? So they look specifically to unsigned artists. So it's nothing to be ashamed of if you're unsigned. It is a certain category, and I think at your stage of the career, it's totally okay. And then later on, that will change and grow. Did that help?
Yes, actually a lot. Thank you very much.
Cool, you're welcome. So thanks for being our model today for the artist page. One, applause to Stain. Does anybody else want to show your artist page? Do you? Yeah, you can. Do we have time for how? What's the energy level? Do we have time for? Give me a little feedback. Do we have time for one more or? Yeah? Okay. We are a small group, so let's do one more. Yeah, come up. Please do. Please do. You can type it in.
Sure, I know
the URL.
Oh. Yes, but maybe if we just open Gigmit and then search.
Yeah, we can do that as well. I have it here. Search. I'm not sure. Slow internet. It's loading. Okay. Now. Okay, I don't know if the.
Yes, Skopje, North Macedonia. Ah, no, it's only in Latin. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's it? Okay, what's your name?
My name? Victor.
Victor, nice to meet you. And thanks for sharing it with us. Did you came all the way from Skopje?
Actually, I study here. I'm studying here in Belgrade at this time, so that's why I'm here. But yes, I am from Skopje.
Cool, cool. All right. So the internet is a bit slow. I think it's not the picture. But it's loading. I would say the picture is good. Are you doing music together or yeah, you do?
It's mostly a duo format, but we also have some songs that have guests, like a drummer and one more guitar player.
But you would perform the two of you, or would you perform actually with?
Actually, it's kind of versatile. We have an option to perform as a duo, and sometimes we also perform with the guests.
Okay, okay. Maybe one idea, just it would be possible to add a second profile, so you can, add as many artist profiles as you like.
That's only announced in the info, but you can't tell by the picture. When you look at the picture, at first sight, it seems like it's only a duo.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, maybe two profiles then, and then having a very strong picture of the whole band with the session musicians. Let me call them like this, like on one side, and then a second one with the duo. But I think the duo is okay. Again, if you can change anything on the format, you may be able to put you a little bit more center, just that your whole body is not completely cut off. But I would say it's a minor, because what you want to express with a big image is the like your kind of artificial and creative expression, right? And the promoter needs to understand that. And I would say that the picture touches it already. So yeah, it's definitely a good base, and all the other stuff is more minor changes to maybe improve it a little bit. Okay, then we have no connection to Spotify. Are you on Spotify?
We didn't have Spotify in Macedonia. We didn't have an option for Spotify until last year. So that's why we're not yet on Spotify, but soon enough.
But you have releases, so
but we have to connect with some distribution services first, and then add our music on Spotify.
Okay, I would recommend that to do that rather sooner than later, because it's a very important number. We out of those, by the way, also those 3 platforms when we did the research with the festivals and venues were mentioned as the most important one where they would look at, right? So Spotify is not just there for the sake of it. It's really there because the promoter said it's their most important platform where they look at. So yeah, I would say in this case, that's very important to go to a distribution platform, submit your songs and upload them and inform the world basically that it's out there as well. Okay, then let's look at the Belgrade as well as the biggest. No, Belgrade is shown because we are in Belgrade, right? So the 12 fans in Belgrade. Let's see the top cities. Skopje, definitely Skopje. Your 530 fans. So I would let me try this time. I would say when you play a gig in Skopje. Have you played a gig in Skopje? When you play a gig in Skopje, it's like 55 people coming. On average?
Around between, same actually, between 50 and 150.
Okay, cool. That's also good, I'd say, because then it means you have a strong, even though you have small numbers, you have a strong connection on that. But looking at the analysis of your main city, of the fans in your main cities, I would also say playing abroad in one of those other cities without previous work into fan growth only makes sense. The same like I mentioned previously with festivals or promotional opportunities, because it wouldn't sell tickets yet. So you definitely need to. And actually, what I would recommend is maybe even pushing Skopje a bit more, that you're bigger, because that gives you better financial return on shows in Skopje, and you can play maybe 4 times a year or something in Skopje with a solid financial return on that. And then you can use that money and invest in other cities, depending on your strategy, depending on where you want to go. Maybe Belgrade, maybe somewhere else, right? Okay, so, but that looks good. Gigs, no upcoming gigs, is that correct?
No upcoming gigs. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, again, recommendation would be trying something yourself, setting up a live stream, something to have at least regular gigs there, that promoters see you are active and you're doing shows, but then 6 past gigs, that's okay. I think that's, yeah. If you have more, you can always add more, but it's a good enough number.
Whenever anything new comes, I am updating the profile, but I'm not sure why doesn't YouTube connect, because as I saw above, YouTube was not connected to the profile. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, YouTube is connected because you have the videos they come from YouTube. We have at the moment, it's our kind of technical thing. We had to stop the YouTube numbers, just to display the YouTube numbers. That's why it says coming soon, because we had to work a little bit on the connection that we have with data connection that we have with YouTube. But that will come again, so that's why we didn't remove it entirely. Yeah, but it is connected, so nothing to worry about. It's just that we are not able to see the numbers at the moment. So then, yeah, we have the videos, loads of them, it's good. No agency, no management, unsigned as well, all good. That's, again, it's no problem. Again, there is people that specifically look for that type of, yeah, status, let's say independent artists who does it DIY. So that's all good. Yeah, I would say everything works. Here, what I see, you don't have Spotify, that's why the media is empty. So in this case, what I would recommend is there's also SoundCloud or Bandcamp connection. I don't know if you have music on SoundCloud or Bandcamp. So you can actually connect that on your artist page as well. And then it will show in the media section here, because we are all convenient people, right? And it is a bit inconvenient if you, as a promoter, have to listen to you. So technically you have music on because you have done the YouTube connection and the videos are there. but it's a bit inconvenient to scroll down to go to the videos. And if you just want to have a quick listen to get an idea of what is it about, it's always good to click here in this field on the play button, and then you can play stuff. It's automatically coming with the Spotify Connect, so that will be filled automatically. But if you in between time, I would connect SoundCloud there, so then they can at least play a song. Okay, cool. Applause.
Thank you.
Applause. Thanks, Victor. By the way, we can all have a beer when this is over as well. The next part or last part, we are now so the artist page, super important when it comes to showing the best of yourself. And now, what is booking? Booking is basically like I said earlier, dating, a sales process. You can have different analogies, but the booking means basically you need to get in touch with a promoter on the other side. And what do you need for this? You need a contact that you know who to reach out to, and you need to make that step to say, hello, I am here, and you need to have a good package of yourself that you can hand over. The good package you have. We've seen 2 good packages already. Can be a little bit improved, but that's there. So once you have that, it is about making connections and making connections. Now, what we offer at GigMed to make that easy is we give you 2 ways of this. One way is the gigs and calls search. And the second way is the festival and venue database. And before I jump into them for 1 second, but before I jump in, what is really, really important and what I really want to stress is that you do it a lot and that you are persistent on things, because there's so many statistics out there, and I don't even which one should I reference to, but basically what I can say is you need to apply to gigs or reach out to promoters in the hundreds before getting 1 offer. And there's artists that only need to reach out to 10 and get an offer, and there's others that need to reach out to 500. But it's a long journey, and it takes time. And then I just met the nice colleagues here from PIN Festival in Macedonia, in Skopje, and they said, okay, they wait till all the applications are in, then they look at it. So that means you need to be patient. It takes time. They will wait. They don't stress themselves out to make a decision on which artist to book or not. So you need to be patient and persistent. And that's the most important what I can say and what I can kind of information that I can give to you today. We make it easy to give you the contacts. We make it easy to show you which promoters or festivals are looking for artists. But in the end of the day, it's about repetitively reaching out. Now I show you the ways how they work. I actually go live in the system. If the internet is too slow, then I just would skip it, that we don't lose too much time. It seems really slow. I don't know. Then let me just share it with you with the little screenshot. So I showed you in this video earlier the calls and this really easy way to open a call for you as an artist as well. If you look for fellow musicians, you for maybe new session musicians one day for a show. So you can use that. So it's really easy. That's our newest feature. But before that, we used to have, and we call it gigs, connected to our name GigMed. And the gigs that are open are a bit more complex. And the way they were designed is we wanted to have all the information up front. We think it's a bit outdated, but there's still festivals that want it like this. So we kept it like this because we don't want to, of course, don't have them available for you as artists, right? So that's why it's a bit tricky. There's a little button, and it's here somewhere. Yeah, if you're on the page, you find it. If you go to the gig search, you see a switch between gigs and calls, and then you see if you switch, you see all the calls, and if you switch back, you see all the gigs. And I would recommend to, of course, apply to all of them. For the gigs, it's a bit easier. You just click on them, and you have submitted already your application. On the calls, you have to fill out some information. Ultimately, probably in half a year, the gigs will be gone. Like we merged this all into the calls, into the new section. But just so you know, so this is about it. The good thing with this is people act proactively looking for artists. And you really know that the people behind this on the other side are looking for artists and will review your profile. So that's really, really cool. But the reality in the live music ecosystem is that it's not always easy, and that there's many promoters, many clubs and bars that say, I do not open a call. Never, ever in my life. I won't do it. And now the question for us was, should we not show these people to our community of artists, or should we make them available as well? And we decided on the second decision. So we developed the festival and venue database. And in the festival and venue database, we have thousands of venues and festivals, and we are actually growing that every month. We're putting new data in all the time. With the festival and venue database, you can just like select Skopje, for example, maybe a genre even, your type of genre. Although I would recommend, if I have a word to say here, not using the genre filter too much, because sometimes you're missing out, because some venues simply didn't put a certain genre in, but they still would produce shows in that genre. So maybe just a city. You can play around with it basically. I mean, it's just filtering. And then look at all those venues in Skopje and click on all of them and submit your artist profile. So once your artist profile has the connections, right, with Spotify and SoundCloud and so on, so you can then click on it, submit it, and you can do that constantly. We will improve that feature, by the way, to make you also see when the promoter looked into it and clicked on your profile and all these kind of statistics, so that you get the feedback. We are currently working on that. We will release it in the next weeks. But basically, it should allow you to go through all of them and no need to research anymore for any certain contacts, which is time consuming and messy. So we want to make that easy. So basically, wherever you want to go, we have also there are section festivals and venues. So you can say, okay, if you don't have fans too much, but you want to play certain cities, you can look, okay, which festivals are there, and apply for those. And what I can say, we limit it in the day. I think 10 you can send a day. But what I would say, come back every day and send a new 10. So to make sure that many festivals and venues have received your profile, because it's all about building the connections. The exciting stuff is you see on your dashboard later on if those promoters have bookmarked you, looked at your page, so you're getting this feedback, so you can also see, does it make sense to follow up to some. There's maybe some promoters that are more interested and looking constantly. You're seeing this on your dashboard. There's a section for that, so you can look into that. I think that is. Since we're running out of time and I want to use the last 10 minutes for questions, I would skip that section. We do have a section, and you can play around with that as well. It's called booking, and if you go in there, you see if festivals, for example, want you to apply because you match their search terms, like your genre or your location matches the terms, so you see that. There's also proactive requests there. I really encourage you to use the artist page constantly, because it's made to be a good EPK for the live scene. So I can encourage you to use that. Also in emails, if you send out an email to somebody or an Instagram or Facebook message, you can always link to the artist page on Gigmit, because the promoters will find all the information that they need in one page there, and you don't need to send 100 YouTube links and 20 whatever other links, because that's all messy. And then in the end, if they want you to play, you will get or you have the availability, the technology is there to also get the requests through the Gigmet system. And since we don't charge any booking fee, it doesn't matter. You can have outside promoters requesting you all the time. You don't need to pay for that. That's part of the service. All right, better together. Let's do that. I hope that helped. I hope that gave you a lot of insights and hands-on information. Do you have any questions? Now is the chance. I'm flying back home tomorrow. Yeah, okay, that's no problem. Well then, thanks very much for your attention. Was almost 1.5 hours, I think. Sorry for making it that long. But yeah, thanks again for coming. I have some business cards here, so if you want, come by, and we also can grab a beer at the bar. And yeah, I will be here to talk further with you if you have some like individual questions as well. Yeah, thanks a lot.